Aeriell is a money-grubbing, conniving bitch. She's a succubus. She's trying to pin her baby on me in order to use me as an expense account.
My next guest, Aeriell, joins us today from Columbus, Georgia. When Aeriell started dating her close friend of 8 years, Robert, she had great expectations. But when Aeriell was 4 months pregnant with their son, Caden, she left Robert because he couldn't hold a job, refused to provide for her. So Robert left the state and began to deny that he was Caden's father. Now, as you're about to see, he has a very different story.
I don't believe I'm the father of Aeriell's 1-year-old son, Caden, at all. I can't trust a word that comes out of that girl's mouth. Aeriell is a money-grubbing, conniving bitch. She's a succubus. She's trying to pin her baby on me in order to use me as an expense account. Ever since she got pregnant, I've been living in hell. I've heard rumors of Aeriell sleeping around from multiple people. When you hear someone's own friends and family tell you stuff like that, you really believe it. I won't let Aeriell make me out to be the bad guy. She's a pathological liar. There is no pleasing this woman. You tell her no, and the demon comes out. Once these DNA results show I am not Caden's father, Aeriell's gonna have to find someone else to shake down for cash because I'm done.
Oh, boy. I'm going to talk to you in a minute. I just want one answer from Robert, okay? What's a succubus?
A succubus is a demonic individual, an entity that comes to men in their dreams and taunts them with sex and slowly drains them of all life energy. And yes.
So in other words, that's what you think Aeriell is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Aeriell, you've been sucking him dry? I mean, what's...
That really is funny, Maury.
Right.
I've been sucking him dry. That's, to me, it's funny that he thinks that I'm sucking him dry, but he's only provided maybe $200 worth of items that Caden needed.
What I don't understand is this, Aeriell. You all, for a long time, several years, were just friends, right?
He was my best friend.
Your best friend. Can you imagine best friends talking like this about each other?
Never in a million years.
How did it go from best friend to being intimate with each other?
Honestly, he was there for me in a really hard time in my life. I had a lot going on with my first son and had, high hopes for how things would turn out with us. And they seemed like they were going well for a while. About 4 or 5 months, they seemed to be going okay.
You told my producers that you thought that Robert kind of practically planned the baby.
No, I know he did.
How was that?
I know he did. He asked me, would I be okay with us having a baby together? Would that be something that I could see us doing in our future?
And you were agreeable?
At the time, I was, yes, sir.
And what was the reaction when you told him you were pregnant?
Oh, he was ecstatic. He was so excited that he was going to get to be a dad, and he was going to get to be, he was going to get to be a father to his own child and not just to my previous child as well.
But then a short time later, you broke up with him.
He quit a job with no notice because he didn't like the way the people talked to him. He had the opportunity to go to work at a fast food company. And, I was working on my own, driving a cab, trying to make sure that we had the things that we needed. He had the opportunity to go to work for a fast food company and didn't even go to the orientation.
So you broke up?
We did split up. Mother's Day, he picked a fight with me about 5 o'clock in the morning. And that was just the final straw for me. That was it. I was done.
And then he went to a different state, or you went to a different state?
He did. He had an opportunity to stay in the town that I live in with a mutual friend and, get him a place, get him a job, get him a place to live.
He threatening me constantly to have me arrested on false allegations.
False allegations, but you didn't even want to let me come pick up my son.
What did some mutual friends of yours tell Robert that kind of caused him to doubt that he was the father?
A mutual friend of ours told him that I was sleeping around, told him that they didn't think there was any chance the baby was his, and he took their word and used it as an excuse to cut and run like he always does.
And for the record...
You had your friend call me because you wasn't woman enough to call me yourself and tell me I wasn't.
Yeah, okay.
You had your friend call me after I'd moved back to Florida.
I said okay. So...
And as usual, you can't accept responsibility for your own actions.
You can't even accept responsibility for your son. So let's go with that.
You're saying when you were with Robert, you never cheated on him?
No.
Okay.
He tries to say that I did. He tries to say that I got back with one of my exes before we split up and all this other crap. And it wasn't true. But he believed what he wanted to so that he would have any excuse to leave.
In fact, when Caden was just a month old, you had to rush him to the hospital, didn't you?
Yes, sir. He had RSV at a month old. He flatlined on the table for 45 seconds. He turned blue. I hit my knees. The nurses in the emergency room told me if I didn't calm down, they were going to have to admit me and put me on oxygen as well.
Did Robert know about this? Did he come to the hospital?
As soon as I was physically able to call him and tell him the day that it happened, I did. I let him know what was going on, what they were going to do as far as keeping the baby. And he told me he was going to do anything and everything he could to get there. 5 days later, we're getting discharged from the hospital, and he never even showed up.
So what do you want from Robert?
I want him to step up and be a dad. I want him to do what he needs to do and not sit here and blame me for every mistake that he makes.
You think they look alike?
Oh, yeah. Caden looks just like him. They've got the same mouth. They've got the same ears. You know, he's got all the crazy calyx in his hair. There's no controlling that boy's hair for nothing, unless it's wet. I mean, he gives the same facial expressions as him and everything.
Okay, Robert, let's get to this. That was pretty harsh, the way you described her earlier. You really mean it?
Yes, sir, I do. I truly do. She's relentless. She really is. I do everything in my power to provide
everything
for my
in
son,
your power,
but I have to
but
adhere.
you pay $200
I have to adhere
for a
strictly.
rental car?
I have to adhere strictly to her rules. And if I don't bend over backwards to kiss her butt, then, you know, I'm made out to be a bad father. And I'm just...
You are a bad father. Look at how you do our son. You take him with you on delivery jobs. Who does that with a 6-month-old baby?
I would have thought that if you two were best friends for several years, that you would kind of know each other, and so that if you decided to get together, you would have already had that friendship as a foundation for a future relationship. But apparently, were you blindsided by her?
Yes, sir, I was, because I was under the same assumption myself as, you know, we knew each other so long, and as soon as, you know, we were there together with one another, her complete attitude, demeanor, everything about her changed. She went off the deep end.
Did you?
Are you kidding me right now? Everything about me
I'm
changed.
being dead serious.
But you moved into my house
Yes.
with me and my son. I was taking care of everything.
Yeah, I beg to differ on that. The job I
You beg
quit
to differ?
was,
The job that you quit is also the job that I got you.
Unsafe. So yeah, I left it. They had
was
me driving a
unsafe
truck
because
with
you
no
made it
brakes on it. So
unsafe,
yeah,
Robbie.
I left the job.
Did you want to have a child?
I did.
You begged for him.
Initially, I did, and after all the rumors and everything started coming out, I just didn't want anything else to do with her.
What were all
You're
the
going to have something to do with me. We have a child together.
What were the rumors?
That she had been sleeping around, that she had told a few of her friends that I wasn't the dad. She thought somebody from a previous relationship was the father.
Were you at the hospital when Caden was born, Robert?
I was not. I was notified last minute, and at the time I was kind of working a dead-end job, just making ends meet.
He was notified last minute because
out-
they induced me 3 weeks early because my blood pressure was
I
high
found
and I had
out
to go to the
last
hospital.
minute that she was in labor with him, and I had no way, including asking friends, family, relatives, buddies, checking Greyhound prices, and even when he was hospitalized, I looked up how long it would take me to walk up there to see my child.
Now,
But you didn't bother.
You-
But you didn't bother to come either way.
Robert, you think you look like Caden?
To a degree, yes, sir, but other features I'm not so sure of.
Do you want to be the do you want to be his father?
I do. I really do.
All right, here we are. We're gonna at least get this part done, all right? In the case of 1-year-old Caden, Robert, you are the father.
I told you. I told your stupid self. You wouldn't listen to me.
You are not the father.